right, everybody, welcome back to the Groundsman. We've got Coach's Reviews here with Coach Oss from Dale College. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm very good, and thanks for having me once again.
Absolutely, man. You're one of our favorites. We've been keeping an eye on Dale College. And yeah, I think it's been an up and down kind of start to the season for you guys. And we're here obviously to talk about how the Cape Schools tournament went, how the boys are doing. And I think the only the thing I could think about when I sort of saw some of the performances against Paul Gymnasium and that kind of thing was the idea at Astra, coach. From
Yeah,
adversities to the stars, coach. There's only one way from here.
100%.
Yeah, man. So let's chat about it a little bit. What was the mood going into the tournament? Were the boys pumped up? Were they ready? Were they ready to go?
The boys were excited. The boys were focused, and yeah, boys were ready to go. Boys had personal goals, team goals, and the focus was there. And the energy levels were high. Everyone was buzzing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as you would imagine, right? So the mood is always high going into these kind of tournaments. How were the? I mean, I did look at some of the games and the pitches. How did you feel the tournament was prepared? Was it good? Were you guys well received?
I thought the tournament was very well planned. When you talk about the wickets that we played on some top decks,
Yeah,
some quality fields. People from King Williamstown playing in Cape Town, in Paarl, in between mountains. It was beautiful, and it was well planned, and everything was to the T. It was good.
yeah, that's fantastic, man. And how did I mean? I looked at your bowling lineup, right? And I think that you guys have some very good swing bowlers. You got some guys that can really move the ball nicely. Do you feel you're missing sort of an out and out quick? You know, like one of those guys that can really clock it and get guys to be rushed at the crease. So do you feel like you're missing a quickie, or do you feel like you've got a balanced side right now?
I would answer that question and say I don't feel that I am missing that aggressive quick bowler,
Hmm.
simply because with our bowling plan and field placings, the guys understand their roles within the team.
Yeah,
And like you said, we've got a lot of oaks that shape the ball, whether it's in or out to the right hander, but the plan's always there. And I think out of 10, 7.5, 8 times we stick to the plan. And when we stick to that plan, it works. If you ask me if I had to choose now what I need, I would say forget about bowling. Get me a batter. Get me someone who's
yeah.
going to score me runs consistently. I don't think that bowling side is an issue because of the disciplines and the plans that the guys have and the guys follow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think your captain is Misoku,
Mr.
isn't it?
George, yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
George.
I mean, he tried, right, George? I mean, I could see he was probably one of your most consistent guys throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
But he just needed someone to bat with him, man. I thought it was a tough outing. What do you have to say to your boys, especially that top six batting lineup, right? Out of that tournament, what do you have to say to them around how they went about it and what they could probably do better?
So for me, it's a conversation that's an ongoing one, especially with the batting department.
Mm.
It's finding out how Oaks are getting out
Yeah,
and making sure that we're not having the same conversation game in and game out.
yeah,
If we are getting trapped in front of the wickets because we're looking to play too square, let's address that issue and let's move away from it.
yeah,
But also just making them understand that batting is something that requires a lot of mental toughness and mental fitness.
yeah,
We've got a lot of Oaks that are very flamboyant and they want to score a 50 in one over.
yeah,
And as much as we practice and as much as coaches can talk, like I used Miso George as an example for all our games because he knuckles down and he'll get you that ugly 50. he'll fight and he'll make bowlers work for his wickets. And that's the kind of attitude that we need from our top six, our top four, to set the foundation. I also felt that we got off to good starts, and then the middle order would just give in.
Yeah.
And then the pressure's just there. And once a guy batting at 7 is coming in and we've lost 4 wickets in 2 overs, the pressure's great. And the bowling attacks that we faced, they weren't the kindest, you know. They were very ruthless. Once there was an opening, they make sure that they're coming after you.
Yeah.
So for me, and again, we've addressed it on last week after coming back, that we need to focus on batting. We need to make sure that it's not a matter of just hitting balls, but it's hitting the right balls to the right areas and making sure that we're identifying issues in our batting and we're addressing those. And every batter's got to say, "Sir, can I get help with playing spin?"
Yeah.
You know, because as much as a coach, I'm watching, a player could be struggling with something that I'm not seeing. So I've opened up the door saying, from last week we started, come up to the coaches and say, "Coach, I've got an issue with a ball that's pitched up and it's swinging away. Can we work on that? Because I'm nicking off." So it's coming from them now as well, and we're working hand in hand. And for me, it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that I'm loving. After going to cave schools, people see played 4, lost 4. Questions will be asked, obviously, but I put a WhatsApp status up and I said, people will read played 4, lost 4, but they won't bother reading the story. They'll just read the headlines. But if you actually look at the games and how the games went, it wasn't just like played 4, lost 4. There was a lot of fight, and there was a lot of games that we were in them up until the last wicket fall kind of thing.
Yeah, they were scrappy, man. They were scrappy. I think, and that's why I wanted to have the chat with you was that it wasn't like you guys weren't rolled over, right? You took a couple of those guys down with you, and although your batting lineup, the middle order did let you down, I felt like your bowlers often came through and just decided to scrap. They were like, I mean, I was looking at one of your spinners, Batandwa, right? He was like. It's not often that you see a talent like that, and I hope he's someone that's sort of looking to make a career out of this thing, because South Africa desperately needs spinners, especially good ones. And it was scrappy. I'll definitely go with you on that one, man. We've reviewed a few games in the past. We reviewed a game, St. Stithians versus Poch Gimmies, right? They absolutely got hammered, man. I think St. Stithians scored close to 400 odd. And Poch, they went home early. It was just a bad day. And a large part of our conversation there was around the fact that Poch never looked like they were going to scrap for the game. They never looked like they're going to chase this thing down. I think they batted their 450 overs. They scored 230 odd. For 6 or something, right? That's a side that's just decided we're not going to win this. We're not going to get any closer. We're just going to spend some time in the middle. And ever since then, they changed it around, right? They beat Grade College. They beat Grade High. They've gone and decided to scrap. And I think that scrappy mentality that you guys have, it may not have gone well for Cape schools right now, but I think what you're doing right now is building a never say die attitude and mentality for your players. And as Dale College, I know a large part of what you guys do as a school is try to build an all-rounded kid, right? So I must congratulate you for that. And that, yes, like you say, the headlines may say played 4, lost 4, but the story tells something a little different. Yeah, definitely, man. Another question that I had for you: what are the plans going forward? What are you guys looking forward to now? Moving on from this is in the past now. What are you guys looking forward to now?
So we've got 2 more games against Cambridge High and Stirling in the next 2 weeks, and then we shift towards exams.
Yeah,
but having a chat with our headmaster, Mr. Gwijo, who's on the same page as me or as us as with the coaches, is that even though the guys are going into exams, we still need to make sure that we've got a program that's going to bring out, especially the batters, whether they're coming twice a week or 3 times a week, but working around the exam schedule, and we have them for an hour, 30 minutes. Because if we stop now because our matches are finished, by the time we come back again in January,
you're
we're
back
going to
to
have to
square
start
one.
from first. Yeah. So we need to make sure that we've got some sort of program that's running, that's making sure that 80% of it is focused on batting and making sure that the guys understand what batting means. And this is going to be from under 13s right up until the under 19s. So we're going to have like a batting camp up until schools close.
Yeah.
And then, the focus needs to be on batting. And for me, it's just that Oaks must understand what it means to spend time in the middle versus being out in the middle and not scoring.
Yeah.
What we saw in Cape Town or at Cape schools is that batters that scored big runs, they stayed out in the middle because they were positive and they had intent to score runs.
Yeah.
They weren't facing 50 balls and they were on 7.
Yeah.
But they were facing 50 balls and they were going at over 100 strike rate.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna get there. We're not gonna get there in the next 2 months. We're not gonna have an Oak that's gonna be scoring over 100 every day.
Yeah.
But the thought process is that let's get the ball rolling now and making sure that the under 14s of this year understand what this means. They must start understanding the language behind it and the implementation behind it, so that by the time they get to under 16 and they're there in that first team phase, they no longer, this is not a new song to them. It's a song that they know and they're already starting to dance to the tune. So that's the idea behind it now.
Yeah, I was thinking now that it's tough for you guys now because I mean you're working on this program now. You're about to lose a few seniors. How many players do you retain now from this first team that you have now?
So all my metrics have stopped playing. So I've lost 6 metrics.
Sure.
So I've got a very young side. That's got 3 or 4 under 15s in it.
Sure.
And that for me is, it's not a concern because at the end of the day, any schoolboy side, you're not going to have the same players for 5 years or 6 years.
Yeah.
You're always going to have new players, whether you're the 14 coach or the first team coach. You're going to have a process where you're going to have a new side and you're going to have to implement new ideas with the players that you have. And for me, it's getting that ball rolling now and making sure that in the next 2 games, we're working hard. And after those 2 games, we work even harder. So that by the time we're going, because we're going to Grahamstown Festival early January, by the time we go there, we know the type of cricket. And I think that's another big thing, is that we've got to know and identify the type of cricket that we want to play with bat in hand. And this is something that the coaches say all the time, that batters are going to do something to give the bowler something to bowl to.
Yeah.
And we've got to have and identify a way of playing and making sure that we stick to it. It might not work up front, but as long as we know that we're working towards something that's going to work in the long run, and we've got the young players that are going to be in the system for the next 3 years. So it's work in progress, and it's something that we're going to focus on.
Yeah, no, you're gonna have a power side in probably another year when those boys start to mature. That strength comes in. I'm telling you, man, the ability to have sort of 15, 16-year-olds coming into getting a taste of this first team smoke is really good, and I think that Cape School tournament was a good indication for them to understand what other boys are doing around the country. So I think you are going to have a power side. Come Jan, you'll definitely be getting the wheels moving, the wheels ticking over. And in a year's time, I think those boys are going to be ready, man. They're going to be well cooked and ready to fire for you guys.
100%. And the work starts now. It has to.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, thank you, man. On a lighter note, I was doing some research, right? And I like to just look into schools and really have a look at what outside of cricket they're known for. And You guys seem to have a Gwijo rivalry with Queens, man. Uh, I've I've seen some of that fire, some of that smoke, and all of a sudden, I've got my YouTube playing. I'm playing the songs in the back. I find myself singing them when I'm taking a walk or going for a run. What is
So
your did because you're an old boy, right? Did you
yes,
guys have the same thing back in the day, or was it started up with these youngsters now?
we had it a little bit back in the day, but
Yeah,
it wasn't remotely close to what it is now.
yeah,
We were more focused on singing the school songs that were in our little hymnal books,
yeah, yeah,
and in between those songs would slip in a Gwijo,
yeah.
But yeah, things have changed. Things have changed so much that our first team, my cricket oaks, so I allowed them to come up with their own plan
Mm,
leading up to the warm up on a Saturday. If Oaks want to play music, they bring a speaker, or
yeah,
everyone's going to be on their phones, bring headphones. They're more than allowed to do that
yeah,
because there's a phase of 20 to 30 minutes that we spend in the changing room before we go to warm up.
yeah.
And my Oaks came back and said, "So we want to, as soon as we get into the changing room, we're handing in our phones to you." So I said,
Mm,
"Okay, that's good." And then so we're gonna go for it. We're gonna start singing. So I said, "What do you mean you're gonna start singing?" And they said, "So wait until Saturday, you're gonna see." So I said, "Okay." So we arrive on that first Saturday. I'm setting up warm up and fielding drills, and then I just turn around and there's this booming sound coming out the changing room.
yeah.
So as I make my way towards the changing room, I take my phone out and I start. And the Oaks were just there, and they didn't actually realize that I'd walked in. Oaks was
Mm,
singing with so much passion, eyes closed, holding on to one another. And that's when you see as a coach that this actually means something to them.
mm,
It drives them and it means something. So it's not just the competition is there because Queens are also very good at it.
yeah,
But I think for both sets of schoolboys, it means something more
yeah.
because um, so last year, December, I lost my mom.
Oh, condolences,
And
man.
thanks, man. And the first game we played after my mom's passing was at Selborne.
Mm,
And again, I was setting up and I walked into the changing room and they were singing a song that hit me.
oh,
And it took me a second and I stood there and I thought to myself, turn around and walk away, go clean up, make sure that you're strong and come back again.
yeah.
Or stand there and let these boys see you when you're broken.
Mm,
And I stood there and they saw me in tears.
mm.
And that song was Emina Nkumbulu
Ah,
Mama. That took me, yeah.
ah,
And I stood there and I sang with them. And when it finished, we just became this unit. And and from then onwards, I think it's something that I've just embraced because
mm,
we might not know what they go through when they sing the songs.
yeah,
We don't know what the thoughts are behind them singing the songs. So it's something that I embrace, something that means a lot to me, something that obviously means a lot to my boys, and we're embracing it. It's part of our team culture. So Gwijo is part of us. And what
yeah.
I'll do is I'll email you a couple that I have on my phone.
Please, please, coach,
We'll
please,
do that.
please. We'd
We'll do that.
love to
Definitely.
spread, we'd love to spread that, man. We'd love to spread that because I think it's such a fantastic thing to see boys enjoy themselves our way. Like
Yeah.
I've played in so many teams where it was so difficult for us to express ourselves the way we would love to and really build an energy around the game or around the team because we were sort of a minority in the side. And to see you guys
So
express yourself with that Gwijo culture and still come out and play hard, scrappy cricket is, for me, it's almost a dream come true. And it makes it worthwhile doing this and covering teams like yourselves on the groundsman. So, coach, thank you so much. I have to run. Please send me those videos that you have, and wish the boys all the luck in the world. Wish them all the luck for the exams as well. Hope they do well. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much for having me once again. And just a quick one from my side to you guys: keep up the good work. And it's for me. I look forward to giving back, to giving you some feedback on what's happened, whether it's good or not, whether it's positive or negative in terms of results. It's something that I look forward to doing, because when this boat turns around and we are on the other side of games, I still want to stand here with the same smile on my face and say, we're turning it around.
Definitely. We'll be here for all of it, Coach. That's Coach Oss from Dale College. Thank you so much for joining us on Coach's Reviews. Coach, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy.